Hello, my friends. Today we're continuing in the Gemara Bava Basra Daf Kuf Mem. So we learned in the Mishnah that if someone dies and there is lots of nechosim, and we said lots of nechosim, there's two shittis. Or it means that there's 12 months to feed the boys and the girls, or it means to feed the boys and the girls until they become old enough, until they become adults. So in that case, the boys get the Yerusha and the girls get food. And if there's nechosim muatim, less than what we said before, so the girls feed from the money and the boys go collecting to support themselves. So says the Gemara, 3 lines down, Kuf Mem Amud Aleph. Pshita, merubim venitmatu, kvar zachu bהם yorshim. So it's obvious in the case if when the father died, the Yerusha was enough to be considered nechosim merubim. So it's obvious that the kids, even though that afterwards it went down in value, the properties the father left or the food became expensive, the Yershim, the boys are at the Yerush and they get their part and they have to feed the daughters. And we don't look at it now as nechosim muatim, even though that now it's nechosim muatim. Says the more the shaila is in the case of muatim v'nitrabu mai. ברשות יורשים קיימי, פילקח ברשות יורשים שבוח, או דילמה סלוקי מסלקי יורשים מאחר. תשמע דאמר רב אסי, אמר רבי יוחנן, יתומים שקדמו ומכרו בנכסים מועטים, מה שמכרו. So Gemara says the shaila is in the following case. When the father died, what he left was considered nechasim muatim, not a lot of possession, and therefore the din should be that the girls should get it and the boys should go collecting. But now it went up in value. The property they left went up in value, or the food became cheap. So what do they now? Do the boys, and now there's enough to feed them until they become adults. Do we say now the boys get the Yerusha and the girls get the Nizonis? Because l'chora, the boys still have a chelik in this Yerusha, now it's enough to give them a part. Or we say no, once we kick them out, that means once when the father died there was nechasim muatim, the boys are not going to get anything, and therefore they are not connected over here, and even though now that it went up in value, bye. So the Gemara brings a Aryeh there. Rav Asi said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that even in the case where there's nechasim muatim, not enough for the boys to take Yerusha, it's all meant to be for the girls to eat, and the boys went before the girls took them to Bezin and they sold the possessions of the father. What they sold. They shouldn't do that lechatchila, but the bechira is chal, and you can't go to the lekuchas and take away from the lekuchas because really it's their Yerusha. So we could see if already when it was in low value, if they sold it, it means that we don't kick them out. It's not pshat when there's nechosim muatim, the boys have no connection, because if they have no connection, if they sell it, the sale wouldn't be a sale, they have nothing to do with it. They're like a novim. Elomai, we could see they're still connected. So if they're still connected, so in the case when the father passed away, it was a little bit of nechosim and now it became up in value. So the din is that the boys have chelik in this Yerusha. Says the Gemara, Yativ Rav Aryeh kamei דרבי עברו, וקבעי מיני, אלמנתו מהו שתמעט בנכסים. מי אמרינן כיוון דאיס למזונים ממעטה, או דילמה כיוון דאילו נמצא לסלה, אשתנה מלתלה. אם תרצה לומר, okay. So the Gemara says like this. Rav Aryeh was sitting in front of Rav Avo and he asked him the following question. So we said nechosim muatim is considered when you don't have enough to support them until they're adults. And nechosim merubim is talking about where you have enough to support the boys and the girls until they're adults. So let's say you have a situation where you have exactly the amount to support the boys and the girls until they're adults. But do we take the almana in consideration? Because the almana, the wife of the dead person, also gets mezoinah, she also gets fed. So if we calculate the money that we have to feed her as well, so there's not enough to feed the boys and the girls until they become adults. So do we say in such a case that it's considered nechasim muatim? Or do we look at it as Mechasim Merubim, and we don't take in calculation the woman. And why should we not take the calculation the wife? Because the wife, until when does she get fed? Until she gets married. She could get married quite soon. So, and in the case she gets married, she doesn't get a penny anymore. So therefore we don't take her into calculation at all. That's a shaila. And that the Gemara says, אם תמצא לומר כיוון דאילו מנצה בלטלה, אשתנמי לטלה, בת אשתו מהו שתמעט בנכסים. מי אמרינן כיוון דכי מנצה בנמי איתלה, ממעטה, או דילמה כיוון דאילו מתה לטלה ולא ממעטה. So the Gemara, if you're going to tell me that by Almona, we look at her, because if she gets married, she doesn't get any food, so we don't take her in calculation. What's the case about the daughter of the wife? I mean, what's the daughter of the wife? That means a woman who had a daughter, and she got married, and her husband, when they got married, promised that if he dies, he'll support her from his Yerusha for 5 years. That he wanted to make sure that this woman who's marrying him should feel comfortable, that she knows that the daughter will be supported. And now he passed away, and he has enough Yerusha to support his boys and his girls until they're adults, so it's a chosim merubim. But we have also this obligation to this daughter of his wife. So the question is, do we say, because even by the almona we said if she gets married she doesn't get anything, but this daughter, it's a obligation for 5 years. Doesn't matter if she gets married or not, and even if she'll get married, you still have to give from the Yerusha 5 years and the zoinus to support her. So therefore we have to take this into the calculation of the Yerusha, and therefore there's less money, and therefore it's called the chosim watim. Or maybe, since if she dies, she won't get any more money, and therefore we don't take her in calculation, because maybe she won't get a penny, maybe she'll die tomorrow. Continue the Gemara, ואם תמצא לומר, כיוון דאילו מתה, לט לה ולא ממעטה, בעל חוב מהו שימעט בנכסים. מי אמרינן כיוון דכי מייס, נמי איסלי ממעט, או דילמה כיוון דמכס גוביינה לא ממעט. So the third kasha, if you're going to tell me that daughter of the wife, we don't take her in calculation, and the reason is because if she passes away you don't have to pay her, what's the case where the father left Yerusha enough to support the boys and the girls until they get adults? So l'chora it's considered nechosim merubim, but this father has a loan that he owes to someone else, and this someone else that he owes a loan to, even if that person dies, the father still owes the loan to him. Why is that? Because he'll owe to the Yerushin of that person. So therefore you should for sure take in calculation and say, wait, there's not enough money until they grow old because of this choiv that the father owes. Or maybe since this choiv hasn't been taken yet, it's mechusa guvaina, it hasn't been claimed yet, so we don't take it in calculation. And the Gemara doesn't answer that. Continues the Gemara and says, V'ike debayla le'idach gisa, ba'al chov ma'u she'ima'ed b'nechasim, kuf mem omid beis, bat ishto ma'u she'tima'ed b'nechasim, almanato ma'u she'tima'ed b'nechasim. So the Gemara says that some people learn these 3 shailes in the other direction. The way we learned it was first almona, and then we said no, almona is no memait. We said bas ishto, and then we said bas ishto is no memait, then bal choiv. Here it's the opposite. We start from bal choiv. Does a bal choiv memait, like we said before, is imchusu govaina, or maybe the other tzad is that it's a choiv even if he dies, and therefore it should be memait. And then the Gemara afterwards he said, okay, if you're going to tell me that Baal Choiv is Nemait, because it's a Choiv even if he dies, what's the din of Bas Ishtoi? Because Bas Ishtoi, if she dies, you don't have to pay the 5 years because she's dead. So maybe it shouldn't be Nemait. And then the Gemara says, if you're going to tell me Bas Ishtoi is Nemait, what's the din of Almona? Is Almona Memait or not? Because maybe Almona shouldn't be Memait because she gets married. And when she gets married, you don't have to pay anymore. And therefore, we shouldn't take it into the calculation. And then the Gemara asks a 4th question that's not exactly on the same wavelength as the other question. The Gemara's 4th question is, אלמנתו ובת איזו מהן קודמת. In a case where let's say there's no boys and there's enough food to feed or the daughter or the almana. Who do you feed first? Do you feed the almana first or do you feed the daughter first? Because the father who passed away is mechuyev also mezoynes ha'isha, also mezoynes ha'bonos. Omalei, so in all these questions that Rav Irmiyah asked Rav Avo told him, Zila idna v'tola mocher. Go today and come back tomorrow and I'll give you an answer. Ki ata amalei pshot miat chadad, amar Rav Abba, amar Rav Asi, asu almana etzel habat kebat etzel ha'achim. ונכסים מועטים. מה הבת אצל האחים, הבת ניזונת והאחים נשאלו על הפתחים, אף אלמנה אצל הבת, אלמנה ניזונת והבת תישאל על הפתחים. So, Rav Avo told Aryeh, go and come back tomorrow. When he came the next day, he told him, I'll answer you one question of your questions, the fourth question that you asked about. Does the daughter get first or the almana gets first? I'll tell you. Because Rav Abba said, in the name of Rav Asi, that the almana, when against the daughter, is like a daughter by the brothers. When there's a little bit of possessions, like we said, that daughter by the brothers, when there's a little bit of the possessions, the daughter gets and the brothers don't get anything. So also almana by the daughter, the almana gets and the daughter doesn't get anything, she should go collecting. So we answered one of these four shaylas. Continues the Gemara, we bring to the Mishnah, Admon Omer Bishvil Shani Zachar Ifsadeti. So we said that Bizman Shalechosim Mu'otim, the boys don't get anything, they go collecting and the girls get fed. And Admon says, well, because I'm a male, I should lose. It's mashma that the male has more rights. So, ask the Gemara, Maikama, what does Admon mean? In what way is a male better than a female that we're saying, oh, because I'm a male, I should lose, as mashma that a male should get more? Amar Abaye, Achi Kama, Bishvil Shani Zachar V'ra'u Ani La'asok B'Torah Ifsadeti. So Abaye explains that the reason what Admon means to say why a male is better than a female is because a male learns Torah. So Admon says, well, I learn Torah, a male learns Torah. It doesn't make sense that he should get less and he should need to go collecting. He needs to learn Torah, he needs to support himself. Amar li Rava, Ela me'ata, man da'asik b'Torah u'diyarit, de lo yasik b'Torah lo yarit. אלא אמר רבא, אחי כמה, בשביל שאני זכר וראוי אני לירש בנכסים מרובים, הפסדתי בנכסים מועטים. So Rava asks Abaye, it doesn't make sense the svara they're saying about learning Torah, because that's very good about the son who learns Torah. But what about if the son doesn't learn Torah? So then Admon doesn't argue with Tanakama, then Admon agrees. And it's mashma that Admon always says his din that the boy shouldn't lose. So it must be the reason why Admon is saying that a boy has a special right is something else. So says Rava, you know what it means? It means the following, that because if we're saying the following, when there's a lot of nechosim, when the father's rich and left no nechosim, what did we say? The boys get everything and the girls only get fed, the basic. So we could see a boy is stronger than a girl. So when there's a little bit of nechosim, it makes no sense that the boy shouldn't get anything. And that's Admon's taina. So Lefi Admon, he argues and he says by nechosim mu'atim. The Rashbam explained this in the Mishnah yesterday. I said they're wrong that the Gemara is going to explain. The Gemara just explained why a zocher is better than a keva, but the Gemara didn't really explain what does Admon hold. And the Rashbam says on the Mishnah that Admon holds that in a case where the chosim mu'atim, they should eat together. They should eat together. They should both be nizoin from the nechosim that's left until it's finished, and then when it's finished, they should both go collecting. But it's not that the women have more rights than the men. Says the Mishnah, הניח בנים ובנות וטומטום. בזמן שהנכסים מרובים, הזכרים דוחים אותו אצל נקבות. נכסים מועטים, הנקבות דוחות אותו אצל זכרים. So we learned early on about tumtum. It means that his private parts are covered and we can't tell if he's a male or female. And the Mishnah is discussing a case where the father left boys, girls, and a tumtum. So we say, if there is lots of possessions, like we learned earlier, that the boys get the Yerusha and the girls Nizoin. So in this case, the boys push away the Tumtum and say, we don't know that you're a boy, you're not getting a part of the Yerusha, and they push him to the girls. And if the Nechosim are Muatim, and what we said the din is the girls get and the boys don't get, so the girls push him, this tumtum, to the boys and say, you're a boy, we're not giving you from our mezoinis, go to the boy, go collecting with them. So continues the Mishnah, Aomer in teled ishti zachar itol maneh, ילדה זכר יטול מנה. נקבה 200, ילדה נקבה נוטלת 200. אם זכר מנה עם נקבה 200, וילדה זכר ונקבה, זכר נוטל מנה, נקבה נוטלת 200. ילדה טומטום אינו נוטל. אם אמר כל מה שתלד אשתי ייטול, הרי זה ייטול, ואם אין שם יורש שלו, הוא יורש את הכל. So says a Mishnah, someone who says, if my wife is going to have a male baby, a boy, he'll get a certain amount of money. And he actually had a male. So this boy gets a money when he's born. Maybe we keep it for him until he grows older, but he's zoichen this money. And if he said, if I have a girl, she should get Mosayim, she should get double, and his wife actually had a girl, she takes Mosayim. Case number 3, if he said, if I have a boy, he'll get money, and if I have a girl, he'll get Mosayim, he said it in the same, he said either or. Not like what we said before. Before he said, if he gets a boy, he'll get money. He never said about the girl, or he said the girl and not about boy. Here he said about both. And the woman had or boy or girl, and Rashbam explains very clearly, it doesn't mean they had twins, it means or boy or girl. So if it's a boy, he gets money. If it's a girl, he gets 200, he gets Mosayim. And if he had twins, the Rashbam explains, the kids get nothing, because it means he wanted to give or boy or girl. It's not mashma that he wanted twins. What happens if in this case we said if it's a boy 100 and if it's a girl 200 and his wife had a tumtum, so he doesn't get anything? And the Gemara is going to ask that it's a steer. If he doesn't get anything, it's mashma that he's no boy and no girl. We don't say get the least. He says we don't get anything, as if we look at him as an independent creature, something, a new type of being, no boy and no girl. If it's a suffix, he should get a fachot 100, the minimum. But we say he doesn't get anything, it's mashma, it's no boy and no girl, and the ratio we said we push him to the girls, it's mashma, he does get it. The Gemara is going to ask this question. But if he said, he didn't say a boy or girl, he said whatever my wife's going to have, this baby is going to get a certain amount. So in that case, even if it's a tumtum, he gets an amount. And finishes off the Mishnah and says that if a person passes away and has no boys and no girls, but he has a tumtum, who do the Yerusha go to? Do they go to the tumtum or do they go to his father? Like if he doesn't have kids, says a Mishnah, he yarshins the whole Yerusha of his father. And the Rashbam explained that the reason is because it says, Ben ein loy ein olov, that he should look into it if he has any continuation. So tumtum is a continuation, and therefore the tumtum yarshins the father in the case where there's no other siblings. Ask the Gemara, dochim oto, it's mashma in the Mishnah that we push him away, v'shakil kebat, and that the boys, in the case of nechasim merubim, that there's boys, girls, and a tumtum, the boys say, you know you're a us, go to the girls. So it's mashma, we push him away to the girls, but he does get to the girl because he gets the minimum. He can't take we have a suffix. Is he a boy or is he a girl? The boy say, you don't, prove me you're a boy. You can't prove, get like the girls, but it's a suffix. Hakatani Seife al datum tumena notel. In the Seife it says that if he said if it's a boy, you get 100. If it's a girl, you get 200. He gets nothing. Why? If it's a suffix, you should get 100. Amar Abaye dochim oto ve'en lo. So Abaye explains, it means that it doesn't mean dochim oto in the ratio, and he goes and he takes with the girls and he gets fed. No, it means the boys push him off to the girls and he gets nothing because he's a dependent type of being. He's no boy and no girl, and the boys get Yerusha, the girls get Mizoinis, but Tumtum has nothing. He gets nothing, and therefore there's no stura that fits in with the Sefer where it says he doesn't take anything. ורבא אמר דוחים אותו ויש לו. וסיפא עשה לרב שמעון גמליאל. דתניא הוא נוגרס דתניא ילדה טומטום ועוד ריגולוס, רב שמעון גמליאל אומר אין קדושה חלה עליהם. So Rava says no. In the ratio where it says doichim oisoi, it means the boys push into the girls and he does get the minimum of mezoinus because he's a suffix, so he can't take the boy because the boy says prove me your boy, but at least like the girl he'll take. Or in the Sefer it says that he doesn't get anything. The Sefer is the Fishitas Rab Shimon Gamliel, that Rab Shimon Gamliel holds that Tumtum is a new type of being, and therefore it's no boy and no girl, and therefore he doesn't take anything. And if you're Rab Shimon Gamliel in the Sefer, you also won't take anything. And where do we see that Rab Shimon Gamliel said this thing? It's talking about a person who has an animal who's going to have its first baby, and he doesn't want to give the first baby to the Kohen. So he says, if it's a boy, it's going to be a korban. If it's a girl, it's going to be a different type of korban. It says the Bryce over there, if it was born of tumtum or androgynous is a type of being that has also female features and also male features. So Rab Shimon Gamliel says, the kedusha is no chal on them. If it was a male, the kedusha was chal. If it's a female, the kedusha is chal. But if it's androgynous or tumtum, no kedusha is chal because that's no male and no female. It's a new type of being. And therefore, that's the Rab Shimon Gamliel in the Mishnah who says in the Sefer of the Mishnah that in the case where a guy promised if it's a son, he's going to give 100, if it's a daughter, 200, and a tumtum was born, he doesn't have to give anything because it's no boy and no girl. Ask the Gemara Kasha, Meitivei tumtum yoresh keben venizon kebat. Bishleim el Rabba yoresh keben benechassim muatim venizon kebat benechassim merubim. El Rabba ma nizon kebat. ולטעמך לרב ומה יורש כבן, אלא ראוי לירש ואין לו, חינמי ראוי ליזון ואין לו. So the Gemara asks the kasha, it says in the Brisa that the tumtum, sometimes he yarshins like a boy, like a son, and he gets fed like a daughter. So says the Gemara, Lefi Rava fits in very good. It means yurish like a son when there's only a little bit that the daughters get and the sons don't get. So also in that case, the tumtum yashin like the son, meaning he doesn't get anything because he's like a boy and the daughters push him away from the mezonis and say, you're a boy, you don't get anything. And in Nizam Kibas, when does he get fed like a girl? When there's lots of nechosim, that when there's lots of nechosim, what to do? And the boys say, you're not getting a part of the Yerush like us, go to the girls and get mezonis. So that's the case, that tumtum gets mezonis like the girls. But if you Aryeh kuf mem aleph amud aleph, that says that in a case where there's nechosim merubim, the tumtum gets nothing, not Yerusha, not mezoines. So what does it mean that sometimes he gets fed like a daughter? He never gets fed like a daughter. If it's nechosim merubim, he doesn't get fed. If it's nechosim muatim, for sure he doesn't get fed. On that the Gemara answers, 1 second. How, Lefi Rava, you're saying, Lefi Rava, it's all nice and good. How Lefi Rava, you're explaining the part in the Brisa that says that he's Yurish Keben? We said, what does it mean, Yurish Keben? That when there's a little bit of Nechosim, he's like a Ben, that he doesn't get anything. So it doesn't mean that he's Yurish Keben, it means he gets nothing like a boy. That's what you meant to say. So also in the Sefer of the Brisa, the second part, when it says, Nizon Kebonos, it doesn't mean that he actually gets food like girls. He never gets food like girls. He should be getting food like girls, but he actually never gets because the girls push him away and say, you're not a girl, go to the boys. So likely if you're of a Yurish Keben means he's meant to be Yurish, but he doesn't get anything because the Chosim Watim. So also in the Sefer where it says Nizan Kibas, it means that he should be getting like a daughter, but he doesn't really get anything. Thank you very much. Should all be blessed and happy and be zoiche to understand these Gemaras. Should be zoiche for the Geula Shleima, the Korev Mamash.